Welcome all of you in the first lecture class of Electrical Engineering Materials. Today we will discuss electrical properties of insulating materials. Before going to the details of properties of insulating material, first we should know use or application of insulating materials. Electrical insulating materials are used to isolate the parts maintained at different potential. Just you see in this picture, say this cable is basically supplying the three-phase power. So these three wire are maintained at different potential. In order to isolate these three parts, they are maintained at different potential, we are providing insulation. Second one is prevent the flow of electric current through unwanted path. And obviously the third reason is to cover and protect the current conducting part of the device. Also the another use of insulating materials are it used as a dielectric materials in the capacitor. What is the purpose of the dielectric? To provide a definite capacitance of the capacitor according to the materials used between the electrodes and the geometry of the dielectric. Now you see we are frequently use that insulating material also known as the dielectrics. But what is the difference or what is the similarity between dielectrics and the insulator? In the dielectric materials, the electrons are tightly bound and are not easily drifted by an external electric field. Thus, dielectric are very poor conductor of electric current. And already we defined that insulating materials are used to prevent the flow of electric current through unwanted path. So frequently we can say dielectric as an insulator and they are synonymous. But what is the special function of the dielectric materials? Dielectric materials can store electrostatic energy by means of polarization taking place in them and also offer better insulation. Due to these reasons, frequently the dielectric materials also known as the insulators. Today we will discuss the 5 electrical properties of insulating materials: volume resistivity, surface resistivity, dielectric constant, dielectric dissipation factor, and dielectric strength. Now, what is volume resistivity? Whenever an insulating material is exposed to an electric field, some conduction takes place through the volume of the material. So, in evaluating various insulating material for their volume conduction, the quantity volume resistivity is used. And most of the cases when we are talking about that resistivity, these are basically volume resistivity. For a flat specimen kept in a uniform field, that volume resistivity is represented by the ratio of RA by L, where R is the volume resistance of the specimen in ohm, A is the electrode area in meter square, and L is the length of the specimen in meter. And volume resistivity is represented in, or unit of the volume resistivity is ohm meter. And in SI system, volume resistivity is equals to the resistance between the opposite faces of a 1 meter cube of the material under study. Now we come to surface resistivity. Like volume conduction, when an insulating material exposed to an electric field, so some of the conduction takes place through the surface of the materials. The surface conduction of the various insulating materials is characterized by the quantity that called the surface resistivity. And for a square specimen, surface resistivity is the resistance between the opposite edges of the specimen. For a rectangular cross section, surface resistivity represented by the formula where Rx is the surface resistance and BD is the width and depth and L is the length. Similarly, in the case of circular cross section, which is represented by the formula rho s is equals to Rs, and this is the circumference 2 pi r divided by length. Now we want to tell you what is the significance of volume resistivity and surface resistivity of an insulating material. Before these discussions, when we are talking about resistivity, that resistivity is volume resistivity, and that is applicable for conductor and semiconductor type of material. Because in case of conductor and semiconductor type of material, volume conduction is much higher compared to the surface conduction. Due to these reasons, we neglect the effect of surface resistivity compared to the volume resistivity. But in the case of insulating materials, both the volume conduction and the surface conduction, they are comparable. So we have to consider both volume resistivity and surface resistivity. In the case of insulating materials, if we consider wet or degraded surface, the resistance of the surface decreases, so leakage current tends to flow more through the surface than the volume of the insulator. Hence, surface resistivity is relevant for insulator. But in the case of conductor material, just the opposite things happens. With the degraded surface, the resistance of the surface increases. So current flows through the volume of the conductor is more. So hence surface resistivity is not relevant for the conductors. Now this is important parameter that is called the dielectric constant, and which is also known as the relative permittivity, and which is denoted by the symbol epsilon r. Dielectric constant or relative permittivity is the ratio of electric charge the capacitor stores at a certain voltage impressed across its electrodes separated by a given dielectric to the electric charge that could be accumulated in the same capacitor of the same electrode configuration at the same voltage but with vacuum or air as dielectric. And we can represent that epsilon r is the ratio of two charge. This is the charge for a particular dielectric and this is the charge measured for the same electrode configurations, same voltage, but here vacuum or air as a dielectric. And this is also you can visualize if we represent air or vacuum in between the electrode. That time if you measure the charge, that charge is Q0, and instead of air or vacuum, if you replace any dielectric, that time if you measure the charge, that charge is Q, and simply the ratio of Q by Q0 is basically called the relative permittivity or the dielectric constant. And all of you know that relation between charge and capacitance of a capacitor. They are related by the equation or formula, that is Q equals to CV, where C is the capacitance of the capacitor and V is the voltage impressed across its electrode. Now, for the same ratio, we can replace by Q by CV and Q0 by C0V. So, instead of representing dielectric constant by charge ratio, now we can represent that relative permittivity or the dielectric constant in terms of the ratio of two capacitors. One capacitance of the capacitor with the given dielectric to the capacitance of a capacitor, the same electrode configurations but having a vacuum for its dielectric. Now, some of you have question in your mind, what is happened if we replace the air or vacuum by any dielectric material? Why, in the case of a dielectric material, why the charge Q is more than Q0? So that information that will be obtained, that you can represent that Q is the summation of the two charge. One is the charge which is measured when the vacuum or air is used as a dielectric in between the electrode. But what is the significance of QD? QD is basically called the charge that depends on the polarization of the dielectric. Just for your knowledge, we will discuss the polarization phenomena in next or some of the class after that. But for your knowledge, that polarization is a phenomena of an insulating material in the presence of electric field. In the case of nonpolar material, dipole is formed. Dipole is what? That separation of the two charge center, positive charge center and negative charge center, by a small distance. So dipole is formed. Either dipole is previously formed in case of the polar material, means dipoles are present. In case of non-polar material, after the application of electric field, dipoles are formed and they are oriented according to the direction of the electric field. Now what is happened? After orientations of the dipoles, now you see, if you consider this plate, nearer to this plate, the polarity of the dipoles are plus. So they induced opposite charge, that is the negative charge on this electrode. And which is opposite things happens in the case of other plate, that charge of the dipole near to this plate is negative, so they induce that positive charge on this. So due to this reason, some extra charge is impressed or extra charge we will get when we are measuring the charge across these two electrodes in the presence of any dielectric material. So now we can represent Q by Q0 is equals to Q0 plus QD by Q0. So that is equals to 1 plus QD by Q0. And also we know that epsilon R is equals to Q by Q0. So we can represent that epsilon R by 1 plus QD by Q0. And the ratio QD by Q0, which is represented by a Greek symbol called chi. What is chi? Chi is the electric susceptibility and it is directly related to the relative permittivity or epsilon R. And chi is a measure of how easily a dielectric polarizes in response to an electric field. So that ratio of QD by Q0 is different for different dielectric material. That is why we are getting different permittivity value for the different insulating materials. Now we come to the another important electrical properties called the dielectric dissipation factor. In the case of dielectric dissipation factor, we have to determine the dielectric loss. The dielectric loss is the power dissipated in a dielectric as heat when the dielectric exposed to an electric field. This power loss occurs in case both DC and AC voltages due to the conduction process in a dielectric that causes leakage current. In case of DC voltage, the conduction in the dielectric is governed by volume and surface resistivity. But in case of AC circuit, if we apply AC voltage, it is necessary to use some other characteristics to describe the losses, because in this case, along with the leakage current conduction, a number of other mechanisms comes into play, that is the losses due to the alternating polarization in the materials. So we have to consider both the conduction, that is the leakage current, as well as that losses due to the alternating polarization. Now, the dielectric loss in an insulating material can be described by the power dissipated per unit volume called the specific loss. Now we consider a dielectric medium in an AC circuit. So what will happen? That dielectric medium is lossy. The capacitor is to be represented by a circuit in such a way that the active power dissipated by the circuit should be equal to power dissipated in the capacitor dielectric, and current should lead the voltage by the same angle as that observed in the dielectric under study. Now this equivalent circuit representation is done by modeling a lossy capacitor by an ideal capacitor with a series or parallel resistor, and series or parallel equivalent circuit, that will be depends on the applications. Now when we represent a lossy capacitor by a equivalent series and parallel circuit, that resistance part is there, and all of you know resistive component or resistive part of the circuit which is responsible for the loss. So the resistive current flowing through the system will then give a measure of the dielectric loss. And here I want to mention that equivalent representations does not offer any explanation of the mechanism of the dielectric losses. Also, you have to note that the resistor is representative the inherent losses, but it cannot be measured by simple ohm meter. Also, this loss will vary according to the electric stress, geometry of the dielectric, electrode arrangement, and frequency of the supply. Now, here we want to show you the series equivalent circuit or series model of the circuit. That lossy capacitor, which is represented by a combination of capacitance and resistance in series. Here this capacitor is ideal capacitor and this resistance is the equivalent series resistance. Now if I represent that phasor diagram, and in this phasor diagram we consider current as a reference phasor. So voltage drop across the resistance that should be fetched with the current, and voltage drop across the capacitance, that is Vc is equals to I into Xc or I by omega c, which is lags the current by 90 degree, and resultant of Vc and Vr, which is represents that resultant voltage or the supply voltage, and angular difference between V and I, this is the power factor angle, and angle between V and Vc is the loss angle called delta. Now when you want to measure tan delta is equals to VR by Vc, where VR is equals to IR and Vc is equals to I into Xc, that is I by omega c. So ultimately you will get tan delta omega c in case of series equivalent circuit. But for some other applications, you have to consider that parallel equivalent circuit or parallel model. Here, in case of phasor diagram, voltage as a reference phasor and resistive current IR should be same phase with the voltage. IR is equals to V by R, and capacitive current leads the voltage by 90 degree. So that is basically represented by V by Xc, that is V omega c. And similarly, resultant of IR and IC represents the total current I, and this is the power factor angle, and this is the loss angle between I and IC. So here also tan delta is ratio of IR by IC, or this is 1 by omega c. Okay. Now dielectric dissipation factor is basically the measurement of the dielectric loss. So all of you know the formula of power. So power is equals to Vi cos phi. Now if you replace that phi is equals to 90 minus delta, so you will be get this. Now if delta is very small, so that can be represented by Vi tan delta. Now Xc is greater than R, so we can represent I is equals to V by Xc, that is V omega c. Now if you replace, ultimately you will get that formula P is equals to V square omega c tan delta. For a given system, if the supply voltage and the capacitance are all kept constant, the dissipation still depends on the factor, that is the tan delta. So generally we denotes that dielectric dissipation factor in terms of tan delta, and which is called DDF for the dielectric dissipation factor. Okay, for a insulating material, if the tan delta value is low, means that insulating material is superior. Okay. So this equation is, therefore we can say that measure the loss due to the dissipation in the dielectric. Now frequently you have to measure the tan delta for to judge the quality of the insulating materials, and generally we measure the tan delta in terms of circuit parameter R and C. So frequently for the measurement, either we have to know the R by XC or we have to measure the XC by R in case of series and parallel equivalence. So for measurements purpose, we have to use a special instrument that is called the Shearing bridge, and that Shearing bridge is designed to cancel out all the stray effects and noises and can measure the actual losses under applied test voltage and frequency. And this is the pictorial or schematic representations of the Shearing bridge. This is just like a Wheatstone bridge type thing, but here we want to measure the tan delta of this equivalent series resistor normal capacitor under test, and we are measuring this capacitor with the help of standard capacitor with negligible equivalent series resistance, and at balance conditions the tan delta value is omega C3 into R3 in terms of these two parameters. Okay, and here we'll show you that series equivalent representation of a particular lossy capacitor, but similarly we can measure that parallel equivalent capacitor also. And this is the standard method of measurement of tan delta by using a Shearing bridge, and this Shearing bridge, when we are measuring the tan delta for Shearing bridge, is basically designed for high voltage in the range of kilovolt range. Now we come to the last electrical properties of insulating materials, that is the dielectric strength. What is dielectric strength? Any dielectric can only be used at voltage for which the electric field intensity do not exceeds the limiting values. Means when we are using a insulating materials, for a insulating materials that should be designed for a particular electric field intensity. If the voltage increases to such a value that electric field intensity goes beyond these critical values, then the dielectric loses its insulating properties. So this phenomena, if the dielectric loses its insulating properties for a particular voltage, this phenomena is known as the dielectric breakdown. And voltage at which a dielectric materials breaks or ruptures is called the breakdown voltage. And the corresponding intensity of the external uniform electric field is called the dielectric strength. So dielectric strength is nothing but a electric field intensity, and which is also known as electric strength or the breakdown strength also. So the breakdown voltage in case of insulating materials generally represented in terms of electric potential, but it is represented in terms of kilovolt. But the dielectric strength is measured in terms of unit of electric field intensity, that is voltage per unit distance, or kV per unit distance, that is kilovolt per millimeter or kilovolt per centimeter or kilovolt per meter also. And this is the typical example of the dielectric strength of air is 3 kilovolt per millimeter under standard temperature and pressure. Standard temperature 20 degrees centigrade, pressure is 760 millimeter of mercury. So you have to note that breakdown voltage that varies depending upon the size of the specimen. If your specimen is more thick, then the breakdown voltage required is more. If your specimen thickness is thin, so for that case breakdown voltage is less. But dielectric strength is an intrinsic property of the dielectric material. It does not vary with the size of the specimen. So this is the discussion about the electrical properties of the insulating material. Thank you.